It's a pleasure that you are participating in our interviews, and I would kindly ask you to introduce yourself and explain us what your company is doing.
Yeah, my name is Eran Aloni. I'm the managing director of Costa Norte. Just a few words about my background. I'm originally from Israel. I moved to Berlin about 8 years ago.
Oh.
Yes, my German is still very bad, so I prefer to speak English, especially in Berlin. You know, you can manage with the English everywhere.
Yeah.
I was a tech entrepreneur most of my life. I'm 56 years old, by the way. I was a founder of 5 startups in my life.
Oh.
Started my first startup during the .com era. I don't know how many people remember this time.
Oh yeah,
It was 1998.
Oh.
But I was all my life I was I was looking for ventures and things to do and businesses. So it's not something that for me it was much scarier to work for a corporate than to build my own business. And we are at Costa Norte. We basically we established a very new concept that is an investment banking agency that supports the tech industry. We as founders we spent 50-60% of our time chasing investors, pitching to investors. Statistically, as you know, 99% of the companies will fail for various reasons. But you can travel to New York, pitch to investors, come back with empty pockets, do it all over again. And then until someone says yes, you have a nice picture on LinkedIn. 6 months later, you start all over again. And in terms of the concept it didn't make sense, because you spend like half of your time pitching to investors while neglecting your business. You don't develop your business. You don't make your sales or product. You burn the money of your shareholders while you're raising capital. So, and the odds are always against you. So that whole concept didn't make sense. And then what we thought will be a good idea was to build a shrink version of a Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan company that will serve the tech industry.
I see.
And that's what we're doing since then. We're a team of 17 people today. We're currently managing deals in about 350 million euro under management right now, where we have about 42 deals that we currently manage. We have 4,000 investors in our network. We work all across Europe and the US. We just last week we started a small office in Kansas City in the US. But that's what we do.
Congrats. Yeah, that's great. The great expansion. Why did you choose this activity? So an investment banking agency. I mean, what was the reason for that?
Yeah, so we thought that I remember that because I was, when I was a founder, I remember that I was expected to do everything as a founder. Okay, so you develop the product, you either write the code or you do the business side. You make coffee, you clean the toilets, you do everything. But they are also expected to, you're not expected to be the legal advisor. So you hire a lawyer. You're not expected to do any accountings. You hire an accountant. But by default in the market, it says, look, if you're a founder, you know how to raise capital. Now in the market, it's most of the companies will fail. This is the reality. Most of the companies will fail because they didn't raise capital for, sometimes it's a product market fit. Sometimes it's the team. Sometimes they don't know how to tell the story. Sometimes it's, they just don't have anything unique. And we did it many times. Okay, so we did it for our own companies. We did it for others. And we thought that we can bring value to these companies in 3 ways. One is we have a very big network of investors from the years that we worked. Second thing is the knowledge, the know-how of what it takes to raise capital, close deals, and negotiate and find the right partners. But I think the most important thing that we thought we can bring to the market is time. As a startup, you always run against the clock. So you always measure your runway and how much money you're burning every month. And raising capital, it's a numbers game. You have to talk to as many investors as possible in the shortest time. And we thought, okay, what will be the right structure to do it? So a company will come to us and say, okay, look, I want to raise now 5 million, 25 million, doesn't matter. How can we do it in the most efficient way? And basically what we understood is we need a big team, a big network, and we do it. It doesn't work on press on a button or any AI and machines. This has to be people to people.
I see.
So we hire a big team all the time. We continue to hire, and we reach out to a huge network, and we manage everything from our side. And the concept that you were asking about, why it's an agency, because we are structured exactly like a real estate agency.
I see.
It's like we have the platform, we have the office, we provide all the services and the know-how. But we have an army of brokers, and all of them are coming from the tech industry, either as founders, as LPs, VCs, former VCs or founders, whatever. And they have their own network of investors, and we have the network of investors. And that's how we structure them. They are right now spread all over Europe and also in the US.
I see. That's really interesting. We know from studies as well that one of the main reasons why companies fail is the lack of understanding the capital need. So I think this is a good market approach. So could you briefly tell us how you could help a customer, kind of a success story of yours? Services?
Sure. So first of all, it's something very, very important to explain. We don't change the odds much. Okay, the odds will always be against you. What we do is we are increasing the odds to put you in front of as many investors as possible in the shortest time.
Okay.
And these are like these are investors that will fit your deal. Today, about half of our clients are going through due diligence processes. But what I can say is, and I always tell this to our clients, I can't make the bride prettier. Okay, this is the bride. This is it. You go to a due diligence. Sometimes they will say, "Look, I don't like your cap table. I don't like the technology. I don't like the team. Whatever." And this I can't do anything about it. I can only put you, in front of the investor, and hopefully at the end of the due diligence, you will get a positive feedback. So that's something that is very important to explain. I think most of our clients today are very experienced, so they know what it takes to raise capitals, and they will come to us and say, "Look, I really don't want to do it again. I don't want to bother with chasing investors now, pitching. You do the groundwork. You go and reach out. You do the follow-ups.
I see.
I'll jump on the call. I'll go to the meetings, and then when you go to the closing, come and help us again." So that's what we do. Success stories, we have few. I can tell you, I don't know, last time we closed a round for a food tech company that was raising a capital from a German lead investor. We supported them through the entire process, due diligence, negotiation. Negotiation was tough, and we closed it. Sometimes these deals sometimes it takes 4 months. We also sold one company in Germany, and that took us almost a year to sell it.
I see.
But it really depends. It really depends on the type of deal, the sector, and the investors. But that's what we do. But maybe explain a little bit about the process on how we do it.
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't matter how much the client is raising. Of course, for us, the upside is the bigger the tickets, the more interesting it is. People don't understand that sometimes it's easier to raise 10 million than to raise 1 million. For some reason, investors think that if you're raising 10 million, you're smarter.
I see.
but sometimes it's also a little bit, you're reducing your risk if you put more money. But for us, it's the same process. It's just we sit with our clients for like 5 hours. We learn everything that we can about them. It's a sprint due diligence for us.
I see.
We try to study everything so we can then present it to the investors in the best possible way. We will help them prepare the financials, if necessary, models, the deck, story, strategy. And that's something that we do. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, so also for my own companies. So we really have a really good understanding of how investors are measuring and looking at potential deals, what they are looking at, what's important, what's not important. And once this is done, we basically present it to all our team, and we start to reach out and present it to the investors. So we do the initial reach out, sometimes presentations,
I see.
until they have some appetite, and then we bring our clients to the table.
I see. So this is an approach based on a lot of experience, and also presenting it to a team where we can learn which points still need a little bit more of discussion.
Exactly.
So you're practically supporting them to get the right idea placed.
Yeah, I think you can think about it like we join the companies for the purpose of the fundraising or for the purpose of the exit. We join them, so we are really becoming part of their team.
Great. That's well understood. So now you are several years in the market, and what were the challenges so far? What, especially in the beginning, so people who will hear us can think about that and learn from it.
Well, this is if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to develop a very thick skin, strong heart. And if you you have to be prepared for a wild roller coaster ride. It's always like that. Okay, you have tough years. 2023 was a very hard year in the tech industry. Dropped in like 50% in investments. It was very hard. Some years, but I went through the to the 2000 bubble, 2008. COVID, you get used to it, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, you really have to be, consistency and persistency. That's the key. You have to be aware that when you're at the bottom, there will be highs, there will be lows. Don't celebrate when you close a big deal, and don't get depressed when you're losing something. It's always like that. I think for us, for me, from the very beginning, by the way, I was very skeptical about this business, and I realized that there is a huge need for this, and I learned that there is no. Also, we screen about 1,000 companies a month.
Whoa!
We look at about 1,000 startups every month, and we speak to about 50, 60 startups every month. I see a lot of great ideas, and I see a lot of bad ideas. But one of the things that I became very aware of that is you can't judge. You don't really know. You don't know. Okay, you don't know what in business will succeed and what will fail. Sometimes you see great ideas and they will be a big flop, and sometimes you see lousy ideas and somehow they turn to be amazing. But for the founders, you have to love it. You have to love what you do. Otherwise, you have no chance to survive.
Yeah, that's right. What would you say are the challenges you are facing now?
So first of all, there is the market. Okay, the market is there's always something with the market. You have 2023 money was on hold in most places, high interest rates. So private money was not moving at all. VCs were holding on to their money, and it was a very, very tough year also for us and also for many startups. It seems to be that 2024 started very strong, so we're very optimistic. So this is a big challenge for us. Was how can we survive 2023? It wasn't easy, but it seems to us right now, at least from looking at January, we're like about 4 times higher conversion of January 2023. So that looks very promising. And so that's one challenge, the market. But the market are always up and down. I think there is the biggest challenge right now is always to find good people. It's not easy. People don't want to work hard. They want to make big money in without any effort. So it's hard to find good people. We're constantly searching and interviewing, and it's that's a second challenge. And we really believe in what we're doing, and that's why we continue to grow constantly. We continue to get more clients and more investments, and so that's interesting. But again, I'm now alone with a big team.
Yes,
there will be a point. I know that it's coming soon that I will need help. And so far I can manage, but I think that it starts to be, just to manage a lot of people, it's becoming a little bit hard.
I see. By talking about people, I understood you are working with a group who are working based on commission, and
yes.
So what would be interesting to learn is what kind of qualities are you looking for when you get people working for your company, for your activities?
So first of all, the back office and administration, of course, they get their payments on a monthly basis. The rest of the team are working like they are venture analysts, and they work like brokers. Each one, it's like his own business or her own business.
Okay.
In terms of quality, self-discipline, super important. Mentality of long distance runners, and people with a great belief and love of what they do, and of course they must have experience in the tech industry.
I see.
You can't train them to understand what it means. If founders are the best, former founders are the best because they really understand what we're doing. Also, former VCs. It's always good, but I would say that probably the biggest the biggest value, or the most important quality that we're looking for is people with self-discipline and determination. If they have it, if they are hungry and they're determined, they can really succeed in this business.
I understand. Yeah. And did you define a set of values which are important for you and your company to go into this activity? So a kind of company's values, did you define?
Yes, of course. Look, for me, it's always, I have to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Otherwise I have no purpose in waking up in the morning.
Yes.
And when I speak to a founder, I feel that if he's not going to hire our services, he's going to he's making the biggest mistake of his life. Not because I need his money, because I truly believe that I can help him to succeed.
Yes.
And if he doesn't understand it, it's like it makes me sad, because I know that 99% of them will fail. I know, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to help him. And so if they say, look, I don't know, it cost me a lot of money. I said, look, man, if you spend now for the next 6 months, you'll spend half of your time traveling all over the world, pitching to investors, and eventually you will have to shut down. It is going to cost you a lot. Apart from your health, it's going to cost you millions. You have to hire us. Yeah, I think so. This is the quality. I have to think why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
And by the way, one of the things that we always look for is how we can support like really early stage companies, sometimes entrepreneurs, or we're always looking for sometimes to donate money to social projects. So we feel that we also give back. We also give back to society, not just taking all the time.
Yeah. That's really a great approach. Currently, you were referring to 2024 starting well. Is there any hot topic at the moment you are discussing in the company, something new or something which is really now, in your mind?
You mean in the market?
To work on a hot topic to work on in your company at the moment?
So we're strongly looking at the US market. It's very interesting. Plus the exchange because we have about half of our investors are based in the US.
I see.
There's a lot of activities there, and there's also a lot of cross-border interest, both from startups and investments. So that's why we started collaborating with this partner in Kansas City, because it helps our European clients and it helps the American clients, to bring capital across border. So that's something that is very important for us. We're very strong in the Israeli market as well. So we are now considering also maybe opening a subsidiary or a partnership here. But so these are the topics. I think for the strategy for 2024, it will be probably US and Israel will be a strong focus. And as a team, I want to have at least 50 people on the team this year. At least.
Oh, that's a great step forward then that you're planning for. Okay, that's exciting. That's quite exciting. You are a successful, let's say, person in terms of starting up businesses, and now you are telling us about Costa Norte. How do you go on educating yourself? Because you need to be up to date.
I'll tell you a secret. When I first came to Germany and I wanted to open a company, so they asked me, so what's your education? And I told her I don't have any education. I was like, to be honest, I almost couldn't finish high school. I was bored in school, and it's like I didn't say no, you can't. You can't be a Geschäftsführer without having any degree. And I said I really don't have. Honestly, I don't have any degree. And but I constantly educate myself all my life. I read tons of books all the time. I listen to podcasts. When I'm running, I'm listening to podcasts. When I'm driving, I'm listening to podcasts, or I'm listening to books, and I constantly read all the time. So that's how I educate myself.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we also indicate a lot of good books always, and it is one of the topics that successful people have in common, that they read a lot. So very good. One question before we finish: why did you call your company Costa Norte? It's interesting.
That's a good question. So look, the original name was 910 Capital, because we said 9 out of 10 companies will fail. Let's call it 910 Capital. We will work on the 9 that are failing. We will work on the 9, not on the 1. But then I was traveling. I used to live in the Dominican Republic, and many years ago. And so I went there to visit some friends, by the way, German friends that live there.
I see.
And then I got a call from our lawyer that we got a letter from a US hedge fund that have the same name, the 910 Capital, and they suggest that we will change the name. So I told the lawyer, just call it Costa Norte. And he said, what is it? I said, it doesn't matter. Just call it Costa Norte.
It sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, good. I understood. Okay. Yeah. Eran, thank you very much for your contribution here in these interviews. I have a final question. Is there a question I did not place here, but you would have wished that I do so?
If I always like to give this advice to young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general is that always, it doesn't matter if you lose, if you fail, or if you win. It's super important to follow your dreams. My biggest fear always is that I will regret that I didn't try it.
I see. That's a good point.
So that's my biggest fear. It's like, always give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. You live only once. The worst case scenario, you will fail. So what? At least you tried. So,
Eran, thank you so much for your great contribution here. I'm happy to have you on our series. I wish you
thank you.
Very, very good luck, not only for this big step in this year, but for the future on for Costa Norte.
Thank you very much, Domingos. Same to you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.